Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome back to another of my videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are a new subscriber, welcome, 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 welcome. And of course, if you are returning, thank you so much for your continued support. Now we're going to get straight into today's video. Stay with me to the end so that you can get every single thing that this video has to offer you today. Now, as you can see from the title, I am going to talk a little bit today about theatre personnel. And when I speak of theatre personnel, I'm speaking about all the people who are involved in making an entire production happen. And I'm talking about from the conceptual idea until the final staging where the lights come down on the stage. We have several people who are involved in that process to make the magic that you all see on stage happen. And so we are going to start with the main man who is the producer. And so the producer is in charge of the overall production. And so let us just say, what are some of the different types of production that exist? Because a lot of times we see things and we feel like a production is limited to whatever it is that only happens, within the theater where there's a play, where there's a dialogue. And we have a whole lot more things. As a matter of fact, every single thing that we put together, yes, that combines all the parts. All those things are considered production. So from theatrical productions, which are the plays that you go to enjoy, watch your belly and your heart for, you laugh your heart out, right? Those things are considered productions. Dance productions, and of course the dance productions vary, depends on the type that you're watching. Stage shows, and we have quite a bit of that across the world. Yes, Jamaica has a lot, the Caribbean, and of course other spaces. And within Jamaica, we talk about the Sumfest, Sting, Rebel Salute. Those are some kinds of stage shows that happens within Jamaica. On a larger scale, when you go to watch a Beyonce concert, when you go to watch a Jay-Z concert, those things are considered your stage shows. The film production, that also is a production within itself, within this film industry. And other events are considered production. So for example, when you have a large fashion show, because it still takes in all the elements that a production requires. It has to be stage managed. There has to be a certain kind of structure and order in which things happen. So all of these things are considered different types of production, and we really need to understand that. But regardless of the type of production it is, what is still critical is the role that the producer plays in this process, and we are about to examine some of those roles and functions of the producer. Now, when we think about a theatre producer, we think about the person who is in charge of the entire production process and is responsible for providing the funding that is needed for the production. So he or she oversees the entire business aspect of a theatrical production. In essence, this person is the boss. This is the person who hires you. This is the person who pays you. And so this person's role and the functions that this person carry out, they are varied and they are many. Now, first and foremost, the producer is a person responsible for creating and managing the budget within a production. Now, when you think about a theatrical production and all the parts and the things that are needed for the production, it means that, listen, you have to find a way to manage a budget. The things don't come free. Yes, you have to pay for them. And in order for you to have an idea how much money you're going to spend, and then to make a projection as to how much money you would want to make, of course, the producer must create a budget. And having created that budget, must manage that budget. The other thing that the producer is responsible for doing is providing or securing financial support for the production. Now, having made your budget, yes, you know all the monies that you're going to spend. So you have to ask yourself, where is it that this money is going to come from in order to ensure that this production happens? And of course, you as the producer must find a way to fund it. How you fund the production is completely up to you. So whether you want to seek sponsorship, you want to have a benefactor, or you're going to just go into your own pocket, it's all up to you, as long as you provide the funding that supports the production. Another function of the producer is to ensure that the production is marketed. Now, as the producer, when you're producing the production, you are doing it in such a way that you want to profit from it. And so you want to fill those seats with people. In order to do that, you must market your production. And of course, that is solely the function of the producer. You ensure it's done, whether you want to hire a market firm, you want to hire a marketing manager, however you want to do it, as long as the marketing is done, it is your responsibility. Another thing that the producer is responsible for is the hiring of the entire production team. So the director, the cast members, the stage managers, or the technical directors, this is solely the purview of the producer. He selects the script. He decides who it is that he wants to work with, and he hires them and he manages them throughout the entire production process. The next function of the producer is that he or she negotiates the contract with the various members of the production team. Now, when the producer decides that he's going to hire Mary, for example, to play the role of the stage manager, and all the other persons who make up the cast, the producer must determine, okay, how much it is that he or she is willing to offer the members of the production team. Now, if the members of the production team, I don't want to say rejected the offer, but maybe make a counter proposal as to how much they would like to be paid, the producer, I should say, is either going to meet that or negotiate to arrive at a common figure that both persons are comfortable with. Yes, and so the producer must ensure that negotiation happens. It doesn't happen with the director unless the director is also the producer, which happens in some instances. The person who produces directs, and this person also sometimes writes. Yeah, so while there are different functions, sometimes you'll find it's in one individual. And the final thing that the producer does, in a nutshell, is that the producer oversees the duration of the production run, oversees ticket sales, management of audience satisfaction, and box office. Now, a lot is said in this one point, but hear me out. Now, the producer must oversee the duration of the run of the production for various reasons, because different things can happen throughout the process. So let's take, for example, the producer sets out to say that the show is going to run for 3 months. 3 months. But during the first 2 months or the first month and a half, you had patrons coming in and filling up the seats. But at the end of the second month, you don't have that many persons. Now, as the producer, you now have to make a call to decide whether or not you want to complete the full 3 months as you've set out, or you want to make a call to say that I am ending in the middle of the month. So you end up running for 2.5 months instead of 3 months. So you have to manage what is happening, and the only way to do that is also pay attention to your ticket sales. If you realize that the ticket sales are not going as how they are supposed to go, right, and you want to ramp up the marketing, and even after you've ramped up the marketing, it is still not where you would want the sales to be. You have to make a call as the producer, because remember, you manage the overall production process from the beginning to the very end. And here you're managing the run because you also don't want to end up operating at a loss financially. Yes, as the producer, you also manage audience satisfaction. One of the things you want to ensure is that when the audience come to the theater to watch this production, they get a complete experience, and the experience starts from the moment they enter the space, parking and even walking into the theater space to interact with the box office personnel, the front of house personnel, and all the persons who are involved. And so as the producer, there are things that you will put in place to ensure that this is done. For example, Basil Dawkins' production, one of the things that he prides himself in is ensuring that all his audience people will come and enjoy a play that starts exactly on time. So he generally starts a show at 8:30. He doesn't start at 8:29. He doesn't start at 8:31. He starts exactly at 8:30 because he doesn't like to keep his audience waiting, and that's one of the satisfaction he likes to offer to his audience. So I do trust and hope that it's very clear in terms of the functions of the producer. Now it is your time for you to put in the comment section what other task or function that the producer is in charge of that is not mentioned here in this video. Go ahead and put that in the comment section, and we will continue the conversation there. I do trust and hope that you found this video quite useful. Stay tuned for part 2 when we will talk about the artistic director of the production.